common sense that they will do and that they will pay and that they will do everything in their power or in their disposal to ensure that the vice president will not be able to run and that she will not be able to win in 2028. Because if ever this happens, I think that will be the end and the failure of their grand agenda.
At yun na nga mga kabayan, pag-usapan nga po natin na ito pong isinuwalat po ni Atty. Froilan na kung saan kaya po pala pilit na pinapabagsak si Pangulong Duterte at ang kanyang anak na si VP Inday Sara. Meron po palang grand plan. Ito pong mga kalaban sa politika ng mga Duterte. Partikular na po, unang-una, yung mga liberal, yung mga amuyong ng mga Aquino. Kung atin nga mababalikan mga kabayan, na itong mga amuyong ng mga Aquino, noon pa, galit kay Pangulong Duterte. Kaya nakahanap po sila ng kakampi, dito nga po sa na nasa kapangyarihan ngayon, yung mga Marcos mga kabayan. Ito pong dalawang to, ang Aquino at mga Marcos, ay magsasaling puwersa. Kasama po yung mga NPA. Mantakin mo, tatlo na po sila nagsasama-sama para lang po labanan ang pagbalik ni Pangulong Duterte sa Pilipinas. Dahil alam po natin mga kabayan na kapag nakabalik po si Pangulong Duterte sa Pilipinas, game over na po para sa kanila. At kung manalo man po si VP Inday Sara, game over na rin po sa mga to. Kaya naman po pilit po nilang ginagawa ang lahat ng kanilang makakaya. Huwag lang pong makatakbo si VP Inday Sara sa 2028. Kung tatakbo man, tatalunin daw po. Dahil meron po silang grand plan. Ano po yung grand plan ng mga to? Ito po, pakinggan po natin kay Atty. Froilan kung ano yung grand plan ng pagsasanib pwersa ng mga Marcos, Aquino at ng mga NPA.
This point in time, mukhang everything is still hanging on the balance as we really don't know if ever this impeachment will proceed as expected. Pero we'll try to see, especially when the 20th Congress tries to open.
Opo, at ngayon nga may mga panawagan na mag-inhibit yung mga senator judges, lalo yung mga pro-Duterte, sa impeachment trial nga po ni VP Sara Duterte. Ano bang masasabi mo dito?
I don't think that will push through, because in the first place, they have the constitutional duty to take part in the impeachment trial. And hindi natin po pwedeng isi-single out yung mga sinasabi nating pro-Duterte or anti-Duterte. Kasi kung gano'n na mangyayari, then we will be having a very partial trial. So ang matitira na lang ba doon yung mga anti-Duterte? And if that happens, then we're not really looking at a very good impartial trial, if that will be the case. So I think they are really clothed with what we call a constitutional duty to really take part or to partake in this impeachment proceeding regardless of any affiliation. And siguro at the end of the day, makikita naman natin dito na ang talagang magiging batayan, hopefully, ng kanilang magiging decision is not really their political affiliation, but rather yung kanilang tinatawag natin na yung ano ba talaga yung laman ng mga ebidensya, ng mga testimonya. Pero as we know it, kasi impeachment naman talaga is really more of a political numbers game. And we have already mentioned this many times over na if we only need 9 to acquit, I believe that right now there are more than 9 people who will be in favor of an acquittal.
Opo. At sa tingin po ninyo, Prof, itong usapin nga sa impeachment na ito, kasi nga sa ngayon, ang hinihintay natin, yung magiging pleadings ng Kamara doon nga sa motion na isinusulong ng impeachment court na dapat aksyonan ng Kamara. Ano yung pananaw nyo hinggil nga dito sa pag-remand nga ng Senado doon sa articles of impeachment back to the Congress or the House of Representatives, Prof?
I think this was a brilliant move on the part of the Senate. No, in the first place, maliwanag naman ang sinasabi ng ating Constitution na sa mga pagdinig patungkol sa impeachment, it's the Senate that has the sole authority to try and to demonstrate their ability to impose yung tinatawag nating rules, no, for the procedural conduct of the impeachment. And I think na-demonstrate nila ito rito, basically. And I think maganda rin ito para malinawan ang publiko, no, dito sa articles of impeachment na paulit-ulit ko nga sinasabi, mukhang minadali, no, nung ifinelto nung February. I don't think the congressmen were really able to scrutinize, to even read at the very least, no, the contents of the articles, kasi nga hinabol nila yung last session ng Senado, kung maalala natin, no? At the same time, I think it will also give ample time for the Congress to really understand, if ever they don't know yet, no, the dynamics or the legalities surrounding impeachment, because maalala natin, meron talaga naman tayong constitutional prohibition on the filing of an impeachment wherein you could only file it once every 12 months. And maliwanag dito, no, na mula ng 2024 hanggang nitong taon na to, nung Pebrero, nung na-file yung fourth impeachment complaint, merong naging paglabag dito. So I think this is an opportune time for the Congress to also see and rectify yung kamalian nila. Kasi mahirap naman, no, nalilitisin natin sa mataas na kapulungan ang articles of impeachment that did not go through the proper substantial mechanisms, no, particularly as prescribed by the law. So I think what the Senate did was a way for the Congress to correct itself. And bago tayo mag-proceed, itama natin kung ano yung mga pagkakamali. So, hindi naman ito pagsasabi na totally dapat wala ng impeachment. Pero itong pinabanggit natin dito kung paano natin itatama yung mekanismo nito para later on, pag nagkaroon na ng trial, hindi ito mapupuna or magiging puntos noong defense, no, particularly of the legal team of the Vice President, na merong legal technicality or legal loophole, no, na sila nakikita, which may derail, no, the proceeding even further. So we don't want that to happen.
Opo. Sa madaling salita, Prof, ginagawa lamang ng Senado yung kanilang timeline. Wala pong delay na sinasabi po ng kabila ng mga ilang mambabatas nga po hinggil nga po dito sa pag-remand ng Senado sa articles of impeachment.
Well, technically kasi if we're looking at the delay, I think ang naging problema rito hindi naman nag-ugat dito sa mataas na kapulungan, ano, sa mababang kapulungan pa lang naman nung last year pa lang, no, nung 2024 pa lang, meron na silang mga pagkaantala na nangyari, no. So I think it's not right for them to put the blame right now on the Senate for whatever delay that was caused in the lower house. So I think right now, even if this impeachment proceeded without the remand, I think it may be very difficult to meet the June 30 deadline when the 20th Congress will be coming in. Otherwise, we'll be looking at impeachment that is, haphazardly done. Maaring hindi ma-file or maisumite lahat ng motion or hindi lahat maibigay lahat ng mga testimonya, ganun din yung mga material evidences pertinent to the case, which might render the decision quite oblivious or baka medyo magiging malabo para sa ating lahat kung ano man yung magiging decision nila. And syempre, lalabas na naman yung sinasabi na it's tainted with political color, it's all about alliances. But at the end of the day, I still believe that the impeachment court, particularly with the leadership of the Senate President Francis Escudero, will always look at the merits and the demerits of the case. So I think hindi ito unnecessary delay on the part of the Senate, but rather it's a way, like I said, to rectify and to correct whatever wrongdoings that emanated from the Congress.
Opo, sabi ng House Prosecution Team, pwede naman pong simulan na ang impeachment trial kahit na may hinihingi na certification nga doon nga sa articles of impeachment. Ano bang masasabi mo dyan, Prof?
I don't think that's the right procedure kasi when you file a verified complaint, kaya nga siya verified, no? Supposedly dapat yan lahat ng mga sufficiency in form and substance should have been delivered or should have actually been observed. So kung meron tayo ritong sinasabi natin na hindi malinaw, hindi maliwanag ng mga reglamento, why are we going to proceed? No, like I said, this might be a way by which the legal team could expose and could be utilizing against the prosecution, and dito magkakaroon tayo ng kumbaga parang unnecessary tilting of the balance. Ika nga, hindi magiging balance kasi sa una pa lang binibigyan mo ng kakayahan yung defense na i-exploit yung kahinaan ng prosecution na ang dahilan naman talaga yung hindi nga pagsunod o hindi pagtalima doon sa tamang proseso, no? Kasi nga when we talk about impeachment, it's always contingent on two things. The first one is sufficiency of form and sufficiency of substance. And if these two things will not be meted out properly, then I think we have a problem here.
Opo. Sa pag-aaral po ninyo sa impeachment sa mga nakaraang mga panahon, Prof, hindi ho ba talaga, pinagbabawal ho ba talaga na isang senator judge o kapag ikaw yung maging judge na ay gumawa ng isang motion o pabor doon sa impeachable official?
Well, I think if the motion is going to be done in order to dismiss a case, then yun, meron tayo maaari maging problema doon dahil lumalabas you're trying to refute and trying to derail what is supposed to be in a good procedural thing, no, na pagkakagaya nitong impeachment. So kung ganun ang mangyayari, kung outright dismissal, I think we have a problem there. Pero if it's a motion for clarification or if a motion to remand, to clear things out, then I think it's just okay for a senator judge to make such kind of motions. After all, dito naman sa isang impeachment proceeding, no, wala naman talaga tayong wala naman lalo ngayon hindi pa na talaga siya nagsisimula, so hindi pa naman maliwanag kung sino talaga yung tatayo as part of the prosecution or defense, no, which could of course file the motions. But since again we haven't started yet, I think we could assume the senator judges here could still make these motions except for an outright dismissal.
Opo. Ibig mo sabihin, Prof, kahit umabot na ito sa 20th Congress, maaari pa rin nilang i-file itong motion to dismiss?
They could file it, but like I said, it's the defense that could actually make the necessary filing of that, but should not really come from the senator judges. They may file other motions, pero I think it's not the motion to dismiss outright that will be filed.
Yun po yung argumento ng prosecution team na dapat po yung gumagawa ng motion yung mga partido, either defense o sa prosecution team.
That's right.
Opo.
That is right.
Opo, kaya napupuna yung naging hakbang daw ng Senado.
Tama po yun. Yung nga, siguro medyo nag-overstep din dito yung Senado. And one of the reasons I believe and see here kung bakit ganun is because hindi pa nasisimula yung impeachment.
Opo.
So I think they're, kumbaga parang in the level of positioning, no? So it's not yet clear as to what will be the eventual outcome of the impeachment. But of course, everything will be cleared out once nagsimula na yung pagulong talaga ng mismong trial.
Opo, bago ko lang ipasa kay partner Admar Prof, may mga nagsasabi na yung ginawa o hakbang din ng Senado ay hinggil nga dito sa pag-remand doon sa articles of impeachment back to the House of Representatives ay isang maaari po silang makasuhan ng maharap ng yung grave abuse.
No, I don't think so. Like I mentioned a while ago, no, maliwanag ang sinasaad ng ating saligang batas patungkol doon sa pagkakaroon nga ng sole authority. And I think we could see this in Article 11, Section 6, Subsection 3, wherein the Senate really is clothed with the sole authority to actually conduct impeachment proceedings. So whatever rules or whatever motions that they may actually have in line with the impeachment proceedings, if it's within the purview of an impeachment trial, I think they will be able to execute this because, like I said, they have the sole authority regarding this. And if you're going to look at what Senator Francis Escudero has been saying, if ever there were irregularities, then he is actually waiting for a TRO to be filed at the very least sa Supreme Court. Pero wala pa naman nagpa-file hanggang sa ngayon.
Prof, magandang umaga, si Admar po ito. Dito lang ako sa naging tugon ni Vice President Sara Duterte kasi meron kasing naging panawagan itong Makati Business Club at iba pang mga business groups di umano na dapat pagpatuloy ang impeachment trial dyan po sa Senado at mag-convene na at para daw magpakita ito ng accountability at makapag-boost di umano ng investor confidence. Ang tugon dito ng pangalawang Pangulo, sabi nga niya dito, sabi niya kahit daw andyan na o wala pa yung impeachment, wala na daw investors confidence no, sa bansa. At dahil na makikita naman daw sa foreign direct investment no na mababa kaya sabi pa ni VP Sara wag siyang gawing rason kung bakit pangit ang takbo ng ekonomiya sa bansa at pagbibigay din pa ng pangalawang Pangulo hindi raw accountability ang impeachment dahil dalawa lang ang penalties niyan. Matanggal siya sa serbisyo at hindi na siya pwedeng manungkulan. No? Unlike, kung gusto talaga ng accountability, ay maghain po ng kaso sa korte na doon meron talagang parusa sakaling mapatunayan na may kasalanan. Ano po yung pananaw niyo ukol dito, Prof?
Well, basically, when we look at the bigger picture, no, and I've always maintained this in several other interviews, that the only reason why they are really parang barking on the vice president here is because of the 2028 presidential elections, in which the vice president has the upper hand technically. And more than that, I don't see any reason why they need to do this to the vice president to think that she is just a spare tire. No, I mean, wala naman talaga siyang cabinet position na hinahawakan ngayon, and she is not being entrusted with any official function other than the fact that she is the sitting vice president. So I agree that if they really want to not just accuse, but to see that there is parang the wheels of justice that will go against the vice president, we have perfectly functioning legal institutions in which this could be done. You know, you could file a case by the ombudsman. Later on, she could be tried at the Sandigan Bayan. She could be filed criminal cases, no, for this. And ito hindi nila na-exhaust. No, they immediately proceeded with impeachment because of the sole reason that if she will be impeached, that will be the end of her political career. And that will mean mawawala or mababawasan technically yung malakas na makakalaban lalong-lalo na ng administration sa 2028. So I think it's all about politics. It's not really about accountability, because if it's accountability, then I go with what she said, that there are other ways by which we could demand that from her, and worse po, pwede pa siyang masampahan ng mga kriminal na kaso, no? And ito hindi naman ang mangyayari with an impeachment case.
Po, doon naman sinasabing para daw magkaroon ng confidence yung mga investor. Kaya dapat ituloy itong impeachment, Prof.
I also I would partly agree with that. No? If we want to show that we have perfectly running or functional legal and political institutions, pwede naman natin gawin yon. Pero hindi natin kasi po pwedeng gawin yon out of a show, no? Just to impress foreign direct investors, just for them to show or for us to show to them na yun nga, meron tayong ganitong mga proseso na sinusunod. At the end of the day, wala naman silang masyadong masasabi nating bearing pagdating doon sa ating political imperatives. Economic-wise, maybe there is. No? Pero whatever will happen out of this impeachment proceeding, wala naman sila talagang kumaga masyadong magiging benefit para sa kanila. No? Pero we wanted to see that everything is satisfied or satisfactory, like I said, in terms of form and substance, because an impeachment proceeding is not an easy deliberation to begin with. We are removing a duly elected public official from her position, and in this case, the vice president. So it's like you're countering the voice of those millions that put her in power, and the only way by which we could do that is through a good impartial trial. No? And yun nga yung binabanggit natin, that it has to go through the rigorous process and ensure that there is sufficiency in form and substance before we could proceed.
Dito naman tayo sa nabisto po ng Open AI, ang nasa likod po ng Chat GPT, na napag-alaman nga na mayroong isang PR firm sa bansa, no, ang gumagamit at nabisto at dinelete yung profile nila dahil ginagamit yung platform na Chat GPT para makalikha ng mga hindi organic na mga komento, anti-VP Sara at pro-Marcos na mga komento, at yun ang ginagamit nila doon sa mga posting, no, sa social media, sa Meta, sa TikTok. At nabanggit nga ito ni nasagot din ito ni VP Sara na wala na siyang plano na sampan ito ng kaso kasi grabe na yung katindi yung kahihiyan na idinulot sa kanila kasi pinangalanan na yun na mga anak na isang negosyante, and talagang malinaw na may kaugnayan pa rin sa politika sa 2028 ang dahilan kung bakit nangyari ito sa kanya. Pero ang kanyang tanong, bakit hindi ito iniimbestigahan, dahil kung mga pro-Duterte ang mga involved, abay, kung maalala natin, yung sa TRICOM, agad-agad ipinatawag, Prof.
Yes, gano'n naman talaga, no? And nagiging maliwanag naman itong trend na to, no, dito sa administration na ito, no? So if you are really in favor of the administration, kahit may mga katiwalian o may mga mali na ginagawa, kagaya nga halimbawa nung naganap na pag-aresto sa ating dating Pangulo, no, instead of corrective measures, anong binigay natin doon sa isa sa mga arkitekto nito, isang magandang promotion. So everything, of course, is political, the way we see it. And ang problema lang dito sa mga AI mechanisms or tools na to is that we don't have yet an enabling law, okay, that could effectively penalize itong mga wrongdoers na to, no? Because let's face it, ChatGPT is still relatively new. It only came about in 2022, and right now we don't have yet a law na masasabi nating may sapat na pangil para labanan itong mga ginagawa ng artificial intelligence, no? Hindi lang naman itong ChatGPT, including yung deepfake, among others, no, which really taints the reputation of any individual. And in this particular case, medyo mahirap tayong humanap ng legal resolve or legal remedy, no? Especially because the Vice President for the Dutertes are going against the administration. So it's really hard, no, to do that. especially because the PCO as well as the DICT is within the control of the chief executive because these are cabinet positions.
Ito bang ganitong klase ng propaganda, Prof? Malinaw na ba ito na talagang napakalakas ni Vice President Sara Duterte na to the point na gagastos ng malaki para lang sa propaganda laban sa kanya at pagpuri sa administrasyon? Kasi hindi mo naman iisipin na nandito ito sa panig ng mga Duterte kasi alam naman natin, may pera ba sila? Sabi, lagi nga nang sinasabi na nasa administrasyon, no? Kaya nga maraming malapit sa administrasyon, malapit sa kusina, kaya nga napausad yung impeachment.
Yes, definitely. No? Alam naman natin, if we're going to look at the bigger picture, it's really all about 2028. No? And kung tutuusin, maliit na pera lamang ito kumpara doon sa maaring mawala pa sa kanila just in case hindi nila maisa sa katuparan yung kanilang agenda to actually have the control of the government beyond 2028. So I think it's common sense that they will do and that they will pay and that they will do everything in their power or in their disposal to ensure that the vice president will not be able to run and that she will not be able to win in 2028. Because if ever this happens, I think that will be the end and the failure of their grand agenda.
Opo. Dito naman po sa interim release na hiniling ng depensa sa ICC, no, sa panig po ni former President Rodrigo Duterte, na sinasabi nga po doon sa kanilang sa dokumento na nakasad sa kanilang hiling na hindi daw nag-oppose dito ang prosecution, no? And at the same time, merong naglabas po ng banta, yung Wansambayan ba yun, grupo ng mga dilaw na nagbabanta doon sa bansa na kukup-kup dito po sa dating Pangulo. Ano pong nakikita nyo ukol dito naman po, Prof?
Well, I think these people are actually going beyond, what their jurisdiction is, if ever they have one, other than their opinions, perhaps. Okay, because to seek an asylum to another country, it's a prerogative of the country that will allow the entry of this person. Hindi ito dapat sinasaklawan ng anumang political forces na nandito sa atin. Kasi in the first place, ibinigay na natin di ba? Isinuko na natin, isinurrender na natin. Ito nga yung binabanggit natin dati. Bakit hindi natin dito nilitis? Bakit hindi natin dito pinagpatuloy yung trial? No? At bakit hindi niya rito kinaharap yung mga reklamo? Ngayon, na ipinasa na nila ang bola sa ICC at nandoon na nga ang ating dating Pangulo sa The Hague, no? What reason do these people have to stop another country, another sovereign entity from trying to render assistance? If it's an asylum, if it's any other kind of legal assistance, lumalabas kasi, wala na tayong control doon because our legal systems are not the ones in function at the moment. So if they're putting undue pressure on the ICC, or if they're putting undue pressure to whatever country that will render assistance to the former president, I think medyo meron tayong problema rito, Because, like I said, isinuko mo na, inilabas mo na, pero ngayon, manghihimasok ka pa din. So, I don't see any reason or any logic behind that, except for the fact that they really want the former president to face political persecution.
Sabi nga ni Mayor Baste Duterte na kung wala naman silang warheads, itong Wansambayan, ay tumahimik na lang sila dahil hindi na nababantaan itong mga bansa na ito. Pero napakapangit din po, di po ba, Prof? Kasi sabi nila, rule of law, dapat sumunod. Kaya nga sumunod sa proseso. ang kampo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kasi nandun na ang dating Pangulo. Pero ito, merong hiling at karapatan naman nilang humiling sa interim release abay para silang diktador na hindi pwede at babantaan yung bansa na kukup-kup, no, dito sa dating Pangulo.
Yes, definitely, because it's very clear that they have the agenda. And one of which is that they really don't want the president to be able to go back in the country. No? Because if ever the president will be able to go back, that will be another big blow to their grand plan or to their grand design. And it might really strengthen even further the candidacy and the presidential bid of the vice president come 2028. So, kung lahat kasi nito, pagtatagni-tagniin natin at tatahiin natin, ang talagang pinupuntos lang naman ito at ang talagang patutunguhan lang naman ito, walang iba kundi 2028. All the actions, all the positionings, all the political events that are happening right now are within the context already of the 2028 presidential elections, because this will be a very important turning point for the political history of the country, particularly, especially when you look at the two families that are contending right now. And I think they're doing everything they can, not only the administration, but also the third force, like the liberals, just to ensure that the vice president will not be able to go back and to win in 2028.
Opo. Samantala, huli na lang po mula sa akin, Prof, no? Last month, nang marinig natin ang pahayag ni DILG Secretary Jun Vic Remulla na ang pamamaraan para makapag-oath taking, makatake ng oath si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na pinili po ng nakararaming mga Dabawenyo para maging kanila pong alkalde muli sa lungsod po ng Davao. Pero hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa rin ito na isa sa katuparan at wala tayong naririnig. Ang mga pagtatanong ay doon pinupukol sa panig po ng mga Duterte na parang wala naman sa kanila ang control na ukol dito kasi nabanggit ni Secretary Jun Vic Remulla ng DILG na merong mula sa embahada, makikipag-ugnayan sa ICC, doon magkakaroon ng oath taking, pero wala pa tayong update mula doon sa side po ng ating pamalaan, Prof. Kung ito po ay tahimik at hindi maisa katuparan, ano po ang magiging implikasyon po nito? Kasi taong bayan mula sa Davao City ang nagpahayag na kanilang gusto na maging alkalde ang dating Pangulo, pero hanggang ngayon ay wala pang progreso po ukol dito, Prof.
Yes, tama po yan, kasi ang jurisdiction halimbawa ng COMELEC dito sa kaso will only be until June 30. Now, after June 30, since he is a locally elected public official, the jurisdiction now will be rendered over to the DILG. And this will be the case, as far as I know, meron lang binibigay na certain time frame before we could be able to bago kumbaga magkaroon ng action ang DILG as to who will be the interim place taker or placeholder of the mayor of a certain city until such time that he will be able to go back.